Hey everyone, welcome to our Chat TV Quick Clips. So today I'm going to mix up some colors that will go onto the Glade grist mill in the tree area, the leaves. This is my older palette where I mixed up some of the grays and different things for that. So I'm just going to rip this off, but I want to save some of these colors if for any reason, just to have them as a reference. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I am mixing and saving my colors with here in a second. Just let me get these transferred. That's about it. Let's save this little bit of white. Okay, and I'll talk about how I set up my palette. Whoops. Wanted to talk real fast, show you real quickly this neat little trick we found when I first started painting. These little palettes, things that I have, palette savers, what I call this, not get one. Well, they're all pretty messy. You can tell I've had them for years. So they close up. Okay, like so. There's a brush that's stuck in there that shouldn't be in there. Put that in my brush collection. I was wondering where that went. So it's just like a little Tupperware container, really. You can see on the side there. So that's without the lid. And they're made by Masterson, Masterson. And they're really, really handy. You just take the lid and pop it on. Make sure it's sealed. No air can get into it. If you're really, really good about keeping your art supplies fresh, you can store those in the refrigerator, just not by food. I just don't think that would be a good idea. These are the old colors off of a previous one. What sits inside of this tub is a disposable palette. I just buy them from Bienfang, Bienfang, and this is the size of a 12 by 16. There's 50 sheets in there, and you can buy them at all of the different art supply companies, and that sits inside there. And then, as I said, these are the colors from my old painting, my previous painting session, and you can tell they're still usable. I mean, they're quite fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up colors today from Michael Harding oil paints. This is the titanium white, number 1, and it is a series 1. You find these on Michael's website or Jerry's Artorama. I'm going to put down a lot of white. And we're going to talk about mixing colors. So if you remember the Glade grist mill, it's kind of a blue-orange painting on the blue-orange side. Leaves are going to be in the ochre and red and some green, some very vibrant green. And we're going to be able to set some things back with this. Also want to mix up a darker brown. I don't like particularly what's going on in one of the buildings, so I'll be painting with that in a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze out our colors. So again, titanium white, ultramarine blue. I also have a King's Blue Deep that I'm going to put on because this blue will be used to mix up some really dark blue greens for the rhododendron. Okay, so now I'm going to put my King's Blue Deep on here as well. I'm going to put on to grab some really nice yellow greens that are on the yellow side. And I'm mixing up, as you probably know, I use a pretty limited palette, but I'm mixing up some different colors just so that I can stay within this range of colors that, this one yet, really make this vibrant and really play in a really nice contrast with the buildings. So I'm going to put a little bit of this cobalt teal down because I'm going to be mixing some different greens, leaf greens, and so this guy's been around a while. So I'm going to put him standing on his little lid so that we can get some of the oils that are trapped down at the bottom to come to the top front and mix with the pigments a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to use a bright green lake. That one I could probably just pretty much use all on its own, but I do like mixing colors and seeing what happens with them later. So I'm going to use some yellows. So this is a cadmium yellow. Nothing surprising there. I'll be mixing that probably with this cobalt teal to get some really bright colors. Stay on the orange side. I may use this just by itself, but definitely want it on the palette. This is the cadmium yellow deep. So I'm going to squeeze for the red. I'm going to squeeze some cadmium red light. Squeeze some of that down there. If you notice, all of the colors right now on my palette here, except for ultramarine blue, are opaque colors. So that's going to make a difference when you start to mix things up. This is a Venetian red. Very nice color. It's a Venetian red. All right, so now we're going to mix up some really cool colors. So again, I'm going to start with the rhododendron green, which is a very dark blue green. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to throw in some of the bright green lake. Now I always mix in the bottom area of the palette. I love this color. This is perfect for that dark shaded area of the rhododendron area. So I need a good portion of that. So I'm going to add a little more of the ultramarine blue, come back with the green lake. I'm going to throw in just a touch of the cobalt because I don't want it to be quite so transparent. Just the kick I was looking for. Okay. So that's my dark green rhododendron color that I'll be using. Now for a highlight on that, I'm going to come back with the green lake, bright green lake, and I'm going to use King's Blue Deep. I don't want this to be a very yellow green, so that's why I'm taking some of the other colors and picking up some of that leftover pigment from the other. Still want it to be bluer. The cobalt teal is also a blue. It's on the blue side, so I'm going to take a little touch of that. Take some more of the green, bright green lake. You notice I'm not being gentle with this at all. I'm mixing it up. I want to actually gray this down just a touch. So I'm going to take just the lightest little bit of cadmium red and mix that in here. And so that takes out that shocking color that, yeah, that's about getting there. So if I hold it next to here, you can see just a definite jump in the color areas there. Okay, so I'm gonna make a little bit more of that. So I'm gonna take the King's Blue Deep, I'm taking a little bit of the lake, putting it in there, a little bit of the cobalt teal. nothing in there. Going to come back and grab just a tiny bit of the cadmium red. Don't need quite as much as I would think I need on this particular color, mainly because it's just going to be a highlight color here and there. Nice combination. So just green areas there. Now I'm going to make another lighter green. That'll be the tree greens. I'm going to throw in a little bit of the cad yellow because they're going to be up further. I want them to have a more striking blue color or green color to them. Not so much blue, but more on the yellow side. And you can see how those will really work together and jump. Okay. Some of this may end up down in that other area. We'll find out. Okay. Never be too gentle with your color mixing. Okay, where's that? I'm going to take the rest of the Green Lake. I'm going to throw in a little touch of, don't be lazy, always squeeze out more if you need it. Okay, so take a little bit more of the King's Blue Deep. I'm going to put in some more of the Cobalt Teal, grab some of the Green Lake. Grab some ultramarine blue, mainly because I want this to be the tree color, but I also want it to be the shadow green that the light will bounce off of. And I'm going to throw in some of the cad yellow. There we go. Throw in a touch more of the cad yellow. So when you are mixing colors and you have different pigment levels, and some manufacturers have different levels tube to tube, it's awfully hard to understand mixing when you don't know it. With Michael's paints, Michael Harding paints, the pigment levels are very consistent. So here's my range of greens, which helps you learn to mix colors better. So what I want to do here is I want to grab some white, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of the green, the bright green lake, and I'm going to touch in some of the cad yellow, and then I'm going to take some white because I'm going to clean this area off before I start mixing. Oops, I forgot to put the yellow ochre on my. So I'm adding French ochre. Because I'm going to start mixing the oranges and the yellows. And so I'm going to clear off this area here with some white so it grabs up all the pigment. It makes this really nice color that I can dot around where sunlight really hits it. Put this guy over here. And I'm still going to do even one more. Aren't these, gosh, these are so creamy. I love these paints. One more, what I call cleaning, where white just picks up the rest of the pigment that's there. It makes a very, very light green. Now, a lot of folks would just go ahead and change out their palette mixing, but I actually like mixing on a dirty palette because it actually picks up other colors so that you kind of get a nice little complement of colors, a little bit of mud, if you will, into some of the other colors that you're mixing, which helps connect the dots. Some folks like mixing on gray, which is absolutely fine as well. So now I'm going to take some of this cad yellow, the cad yellow deep, and some of the cad red. And there will be another quick clip coming up. Beautiful, nice orange. So that would be an orange that'll end up sitting up into the trees, getting some light, if you will. I'm going to take the rest of the cad yellow and I'm going to mix in this touch of the Venetian red because I want a dark red orange that'll be sitting in the shaded areas that the light can bounce off of. Perfect. See the two together. And take some of the yellow ochre, French yellow ochre, some of the cad orange, a touch of the Venetian red. Very close to a brown color that I want. I'm going to add just a touch of the ultramarine blue. Again, transparent and opaque in together, so it shouldn't do anything value-wise except make it darker, which is exactly what I want for some barn area. And it'd be deep shade as well. Okay, I'm going to take some of this Venetian red. I'm going to take the yellow ochre again, and I'm going to throw in some cad red light. And you notice this is 4 different colors. A lot of folks are like, don't use 4 different colors. With Michael's paints, you can use as many colors as you want because it is not going to get muddy. You can make mud with it. You just saw me make mud with it. But even the mud colors are very, very nice. So this is a darkish reddish color. If you put it next to the orange, you can see how the difference is there. I'm going to take, at this point, I'm going to clean my palette again with the white. So you get a grayed down white area. This might be a flower or two. So now I want to take the cad yellow, cadmium red light, mix them together. And I didn't need quite that much of the cad red. That's all right. Go get some more cad yellow. Fair amount of that. I'll take a touch of white. A little more of the cad yellow. I want this to be an orange that just really pops. I also want it to be more on the red side. See, I just made up some more of that. So I want it to be more on the red side. Just as I go along. That's close to where I wanted it to be. I'm going to clean the palette off a little bit more. You know, this orange color may reflect up into the rocks a little bit. So that might be a good, these two may be a great add to the rocks that we have in the painting. Okay. So if you look at the values that I have down here, they're very close, except for the ones that are, much, much darker. Makes sense, right? So I have a couple dark, couple in the medium range. You can see it play against some of the grays that I have up here. It'll change the properties of the gray. So I'm mixing cadmium yellow and cadmium yellow deep together to get kind of this gold color that I'm looking for. I'm going to put a touch of the Venetian red in there. I don't need a lot of it because it is strong pigment. So this will be a nice complement to the other oranges that are there. Just a tad, just a little tap. Hardly even worth talking about. Cadmium red in here. You learn not to slam your colors. Perfect. Clean my knife. I'm going to clean this little palette area where I mix. And this one's another one of my very light colors. So you can see we've got an array of colors here, all working very nicely together. The different values we have. Very, very light values. There we go. Just put it up there. Very light values, dark values, into lighter values. So a nice range. 3 different values. That's all I wanted. Okay. So there you have the colors that we're going to use in the Glade Grist Mill coming up. Thanks for tuning in to the Art Chat TV Quick Clips. This is your host, Linda Riesenberg Fisler. I'll see you in the next clip. Bye.